Hello, art lovers, or those that would love to love art. Welcome to my art gallery. I am Loretta, and my role in these videos is to be a sleuthsayer of culture using art. Try to remember that the viewer is always right, that your view matters. I will ask you to pause the video to give time for you to write down what the art means to you, what it brings up for you. It could be a feeling, an emotion, a story, a memory, a commentary, or something. Whatever comes up, take a few moments to write it down and don't censor it. Just write down what comes up for you. And here is the video, or the composition for today. This is called Tangled Destiny. It is wallpaper and acrylic paint and sketching paper and pastel, oil pastel, and it is on plasterboard. And it's from a series called If These Walls Could Talk. It is 39 inches by 25 inches. Okay, so if you could pause the video and write down what comes up for you, you are correct. And join me back here. Okay, let's get into it. What this brings up for me is, when I was doing this, I kept noticing that when I went after a dream or an idea or something in life, something always tripped me up and I couldn't put my finger on it. And so I would go after it. I would do what culture told me. You can have everything, be everything, do what you want to do. You know, I went back to school and went after some professional goals. And when I went for those professional goals, I was surprised by some of the sabotaging or the biases and things. Even though culture said they weren't there, I was met with them in my professional life and in my personal life, trying to have relationships with my partner, not being included in decision making. When I would bring up stuff that I needed, it would be brushed aside, and I just didn't understand what was going on. I thought that when I became an adult and I learned how to communicate, I could ask for what you need. So I started asking for what I needed, and it would be sabotaged, pushed against, ignored, and I just didn't understand. So for me, this was a journey that I went on to discover what kept tripping me up. All of these storms and things would be caused, and I wouldn't even understand why they were being caused. My heart would be ripped apart, and I would be reaching for the stars, and I'd be going after my dreams, and you know, I realized that in our culture, I started to study it, and I started to learn about patriarchy, and I started to see how we are taught to push against women and anybody lower than us, anybody lower on the totem pole, but women were one of the lower ones. They were the oppressed ones, and women were taught to even compete with each other and not support each other, and this is what I started to dive into. So over a couple of years after I've done this, it's come to mean some newer things, like the environment. I would think that people cared about the environment. I would think that leaders cared about the environment, and I expected that leaders cared about the environment, and you know, the leaders of our country, the leaders of our constituents, leaders of our city, even the garbage collector, even the blue box and people, you know, when we put our blue box, our recycling in, you know, I learned that at the recycle plant they throw stuff out. They're not even doing their job. You know, everybody is out for money and status, and they're not caring about what their job description was, and it shocks me. And now with the environment crisis that we're in, you know, I remember hearing people saying there's no environment crisis, these people are making it up for, and I think, why would people make up an environmental crisis? The question needed to be, why are people pushing against environment crisis? Because to do what's good for the environment, whether there's a crisis or not, is a good thing. And I was so brainwashed. I bought into believing that our leaders had our best interest at heart, and what they were telling us was the truth. And so I started to look, I started to wonder, I started to question. So that's what this composition means to me. I found a couple of quotes that kind of relate to a bit of what this meant for me. It was the most potent weapon of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed, by Steve Biko. And the other one is, women are the only oppressed group in our society that lives in intimate association with their oppressor, Evelyn Cumming. And that one really hit me hard, because that's how I was brainwashed for so long. That's why I didn't want to see, because it is those that I love that are closest to me. Because we all drank the Kool-Aid, we all bought into this oppressive behavior, we all bought into this status, money stuff, and how to treat each other, and it wasn't supportive, it wasn't collaborative, it was competitive, and it was for ego, it was for envy-seeking, jealousy. That used to be a good thing. Hey, let's get somebody to be jealous or envious of us. Really? Because that divides us. That doesn't bring us together. So I invite you to come back, keep exploring art, learn about how it programs us, through how culture programs us. And when you look into art and you see what you want to see, and you dare to be go and make your own comments on art, it will slowly open your mind and give you permission to start to have your own opinions. So thank you for visiting my window gallery. You could be anywhere you wanted to be today, and you chose to be here, and I appreciate that. Thank you. Have a great day.